I have a very funny story, if I haven't already told it before, about how Xbox has essentially almost given me a heart attack because it nearly made me think my PC was dying. And why I bring up Xbox specifically will make sense once I tell the story. So, like, not too long ago, so I was trying to play Dying Light, right? And I think everybody should play that game because it's amazing. The problem with Dying Light I was facing is I played the game with a controller because it's how I beat it the first time. And it's the control style I'm more comfortable with, right? So, like, when I was trying to play it, and I tapped in the right stick, right? Or I clicked in the right stick to aim down sight with guns, the character would just keep moving forward, meaning I couldn't ADS. So, the big problem with that, it was a bit problematic because, like, obviously, a control stick's not going to be as accurate, and I didn't want to use a keyboard or mouse. So I figured, maybe if I just connect my Xbox One controller, maybe this will mitigate the issue. And guess what? I played it, and then it did. And everything was going fine. That's when Dead as Disco came out, and then I streamed that one evening. Everything was going smooth and going perfectly. And then I noticed the day after, not the day before, the game was shit. But what happened was, after I decided to play it the next morning, because I was obsessed with the game, well, like, I noticed the game was lagging for whatever reason. And it was lagging badly. Like, I was getting smooth, consistent 60 FPS the day before, even on stream, while recording a 1440. And then when I look back, okay, this was a lie. I'm misremembering this now. It was OBS. Yes, sorry, it was OBS that was dropping frames like shit. It was like, I used to record everything smooth at like 60 FPS, no problem. And then all of a sudden, when you put that shit up on OBS, I'd see it drop down to like 20 frames per second. I saw it in my like the timestamp thingy at the bottom of the thing that showed you like how many frames per second you were recording at. I saw it in the preview. Everything was just going to shit, right? Then what ended up happening was I thought, okay, there could be a multiple bunch of reasons. The music that I put on might have had too fast of a BPM for the game to keep up with, or OBS. I mean, this was the same time that I did that Pragmata stream, and we had like similar issues there. Thankfully that got sorted out, so I figured something like that was happening there. So I picked a slower song. Problem still persisted. So after testing like 3 or 4 songs, I figured OBS was having a problem, right? So I just went out of my way and I updated OBS. I played it again after updating OBS. Same problem still persisted no matter what I did. And I started noticing that even the game, like I turned on like the NVIDIA thing, the NVIDIA frame counter thing, right? I turned on that just to see whether or not there wasn't like an issue on my side. And then I just saw like my drivers were outdated. Then I figured maybe this is the problem. Maybe that's why OBS is also struggling, because it uses my GPU to record as well. Yeah, after I did the update, then like, what do you call it? I loaded back into the game, and now my frames were the worst they've ever been at all. Like, I would get 60 and with struggling recording on OBS. Now the entire game was just running at 20 FPS. So I thought 2 things. I thought either my PC was dying or NVIDIA had a faulty update. I think I've heard like NVIDIA's driver updates sometimes cause problems. So I was hoping that it was the former and not the latter. Same day, I actually edited a video. A couple of shorts and something for somebody, and the rendering, the editing, everything was still fine. Like, I didn't see any issue. Like, everything was still going well. And then what ended up happening was I thought like, okay, then that probably means that NVIDIA's drivers bugs out on games. Like, that had to be it. And then I tried again just to be sure. Or maybe it was just with Dead as Disco, because of course it's Unreal Engine 5. Maybe they had an update that maybe screwed up a few things. I was trying to like look at the more optimistic side of things, right? And then I figured, you know what? I want to platinum Pragmata, right? I want to platinum Pragmata. And then like when I loaded Pragmata up, like all the frames were chugging to shit. Like in the spot where you usually can, your hub where you have cabin, where you can like do your upgrades, you do your VR mission, shit like that. That place was lagging worse than it ever has. I still think I might have some footage of that entire thing happening. So yeah, it was it was lagging to shit. It was unplayable. It had input lag, it had lagging, I was getting like 30 to 20 frames. And then I thought to myself, okay, maybe, like I'm constantly battling between, okay, maybe the game had a shitty update. Okay, fine. I don't know what was going on. And then I let it go for like a day, and then, you know, Resident Evil Requiem's DLC came out. I sat there and I was thinking, like, okay, maybe I can give this a go, and maybe it's another good little test run to see whether or not, you know, like, it is actually just a driver problem with the game or something like that. I wait 3 hours for the update for the game to download, and then I launched Requiem. Everything was fine for like the first couple of seconds. I was thinking, okay, maybe there was a problem with those other two games. And then after like I finished the first run failing, I go back to the intro where you're like in the intro part with Leon in the city, which is supposed to be the most visually intense game. The worst input lag and the worst frame drops I've ever seen in my entire life. And this was in the part, like, my PC only really, and I don't even know if it's my PC, if it's not just the game itself, but, like, the part in the game where it didn't lag once for me, like, it didn't drop a single frame, which is what people consider to be, like, the what? The, like, the benchmark area with Grace and Leon and all that stuff, with all those people and the rain and the cars and shit. That part lagged to shit. I was getting, like, again, somewhere in, like, the 20 FPS. Then at that point, I threw my hands up in my air, and I was like, no, dog, then my PC must be shitting itself, because now you're telling me something that I could run flawlessly with no issue. Now it's lagging? Dude, like, what the hell? And then I was like, this is when I went into full panic mode, trying to figure out what could be a problem, right? So I downloaded so many diagnostic tools. I fucking clicked on so many potential sketchy links. Now, I look at all these diagnostic tools and say, okay, I've looked up what is like my PC's regular shit. Everything was checking out. My SSD was fine. My RAM was fine. Nothing was overheating. Nothing was overusing anything. Hardware-wise, everything looked good. Nothing smelled like smoke. And I even cleaned my PC. And then I turned it on. Everything seemed fine. Temp still seemed fine. Usage still seemed fine. And then I decided to load back into Requiem. And the same problem. And now it had even worse. Like, let's say, for instance, like, you know how it's supposed to feel when you turn the camera in Requiem, right? When I pressed left, like this, it's supposed to be instant, right? It took, like, 2 seconds to register that turn, and it was unplayable. And I was at that point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait until NVIDIA releases a new driver update, because I'm thinking that this update is just fucked. So, at that point, what I did, I figured, like, maybe it's just that, okay? So, I thought, you know what? I'm in the mood for some PS1 games again. So I loaded up my PS1 emulator, played a little bit of Fighting Force 2. Great game, by the way, but I nearly got a mental breakdown after what I'm about to tell you now. The same problems were happening with the PS1 games. Now, I was almost dead convinced my PC was dying. And then I lost it for that moment, and then I left it for like a couple of minutes just to try and clear my head and stuff. Like, I was like defeated at that point because I had literally tried everything. So for whatever reason, I went back onto Deadass Disco just to see whether or not maybe something has happened in the time that I had my breakdown. Well, not really, but I was super fucking pissed off. Like, if you've watched the Cat Icarus episode with this PC, it's kind of like the similar kind of thing there. Then I played Deadass Disco again, tried it out, same problem occurred. I was pissed. I just gave up. I just decided, fuck it. I'm not gonna waste any more of my energy on this today. And then, you know what happened? In my rage and my frustration, I was just fed up, and I'm gonna go full screen. This isn't the right controller, but this is the Germanization, right? So I took the controller and I turned it off before I decided to go out of the game. I don't know what didn't keep me from Alt F4ing, but the minute I turned off my Xbox One controller, just for good visual clarity, I'll get the right thing. As that shit was going down, I turned the thing off, right? And the minute I turned this son of a bitch off, all my frames were fine again. All of my frames were absolutely perfect. I sat there, I played like around with the game, just with my keyboard and mouse, no lagging, no nothing, not on OBS, not in the game itself, no problem anywhere. And I looked at this thing and I'm like, was this the problem the whole time? And then immediately I Googled, Xbox One controller causes PC lag and slowdown. Article after article after article explaining the exact same problem, right? Like the exact same problem that I was having. Like they say, oh, it's because of outdated drivers or something like that. It's this and that, it's all these different things, but case in point, it was the controller that was causing the slowdown and the lag and my mental agony for that entire week. Well, there was 2 days, I think. I can't remember. But regardless, you're telling me the Microsoft designed product does not work with your Microsoft designed software and hardware. Whatever, the controller was broken. The controller was broken.